Are you feeling unheard, unseen, unloved by your husband and have been for a long period of time now? Well, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to explain to you some strategies that are going to help you to be able to reconnect with him in ways that you could never have imagined and help to transform your relationship forever. And if you're watching this video, you're probably feeling that distance between you and your husband that didn't exist at the very beginning of the marriage. That distance where it almost feels like you're roommates. That when you guys see each other, there's no real connection on any level. There's barely a hello. In the evenings, you just go into bed, you turn the other way, and it's just such an uncomfortable feeling, almost like ships passing through the night. Look, I get it. You know, for the last 10 years, I've been working with hundreds of women from all over the world to be able to save their marriage, but help them to really understand more of male psychology as well. And it's extremely important that you understand more about this if you want to turn this situation around as soon as you possibly can. And hence, in today's video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what you need to do to reconnect with your husband and really rekindle that spark between the two of you that has been lost for so long. Now, I want to be clear here, this video isn't for women who are just looking for quick fixes or surface level changes. We're really talking about deep transformation, and that deep level of transformation on the inside then leads to massive transformations in the marriage. And also with that, we want to go deep into understanding male psychology. By understanding more of him, you can not only adapt your communication, but have a different level of empathy and understanding for where his mindset is at. And that is a really, really wonderful recipe for creating incredible shifts in your marriage. Now, the first step to understanding how to reconnect with your husband is to understand male psychology and recognize that men's brains are just wired differently. In all of the years that I've been doing this work, it is so evident to me that the way in which women and men function in relationships is so very different, which is to say the difference between the masculine and the feminine energies. And the beauty of it is that when you understand how your husband actually thinks, how his brain actually operates, then it can really help you to connect with him in ways that you've never been able to before. It's going to give you a whole different level of insight and understanding into him, and then that'll allow you to adapt your communication, the language that you use, the actions that you take, and so on. Now, the issue with a lot of the advice out there is that it treats men and women very similar in terms of how they operate in relationships. And if you take that approach, then it is bound to fail. Because so many times when men are communicating with women, they're communicating in ways that they think that the woman is going to respond well with based on their own approach, and the same goes for women. And so therefore, it just never works. There's never any real understanding, acknowledgement of where that person is at. We've got to understand those differences. Now, here are some simple ways to work with male psychology rather than against it. Now, the first is to give him respect rather than criticize. Now, look, obviously there's going to be times where he's going to get things wrong, he's going to do things that, displease you and so on. That's fine, I understand that. But most of the time, you want to really encourage him and really elevate your levels of respect for him. The more you criticize, the more he's going to shut down, the more it's going to make him feel emasculated. And that is a surefire way to create a disconnect between you and your husband. Secondly, know that when you share your problems with him, when you want to talk about those things, he's going to try and fix them. Now, I know that that may not necessarily serve your needs at this moment in time, but if you could understand and recognize that this is his way of trying to connect with you and help you and serve you on this journey of yours, then it can give you a whole different insight and almost allow you to open your heart rather than shut down and be annoyed at him because he's trying to fix it, rather than just listening and hearing you and making you feel understood. Like I say, I understand it, but if you can just take that approach and have a little bit more empathy and recognize the fact that all he's doing is trying to solve these problems for you, and that makes him feel significant, and in his eyes, in his mind, it makes him feel like he's actually stepping up for you and doing the things that you want him to do. Some people don't have that awareness, but if you can recognize that and you can make those shifts, that can really help you to reconnect with him at levels that you truly want to. Thirdly, give him some time to process and think. Often when it feels like he's shutting down, what he's actually doing is processing in his own mind. He's trying to gather his thoughts and collect them and really understand what's going on, the way he needs to actually act on that. Unfortunately, what happens is when men shut down, women obviously and understandably get frustrated and get hurt, and sometimes they can be quite aggressive, or sometimes they shut down as well, and there often is this disconnect. And then that exacerbates the situation. That's not in any way to blame women or anything like that. It's just recognizing the dynamics that exist. And because you're watching this video, we want to make sure you're equipped with the tools and the strategies to be able to handle situations like that. And once again, when you understand that he's just processing and gives you a different level of empathy, it allows you to open your heart and not get triggered by those things every single time. Because a lot of the issues that exist in relationships often get exacerbated by our own interpretation of those issues. And so we see someone shutting down and we then mull over it and we think, oh, he doesn't love me, he's not listening to me, he never ever responds, he never wants to communicate, and so on. But if we understand, hey, look, he's actually just going through a little bit of stuff in his mind, this is the way he processes this, then maybe in a day or two or whatever we can reconvene and talk about some of these things and so on. It's going to allow you to open your heart more and have more empathy for where he's at. And when we have more empathy, we connect at that heart level, and they can pick up on some of that as well. And that can really help you to improve the connection between the two of you. And finally, make sure you show gratitude for the things that he does well. Like anything in life, we build on success, not on failure. And so if he does some things that are good, actually tell him how much you appreciate those things, and make sure it's authentic as well. Sometimes people can be quite robotic once they learn about these things and just say thanks every single time, and it feels forced, it feels fake. And so often the feedback I get from some male clients of mine is that, oh, my wife, she's trying all these things and it doesn't feel natural. It's got to feel authentic, it's got to be authentic, and it's got to be expressed in an authentic way. When you do that, then it's a really good thing, because it helps him to realize, wow, she really appreciates it when I do these things. Awesome, well, I'm going to do more of them. Rather than not providing any kind of feedback on any level, and then it's like, well, there's nothing I can do, I can't do anything right if the only feedback that I'm getting is negative. So make sure that you really start to stack the positive experiences. Now, if you begin to apply these, I promise you, there can be some really radical shifts that can occur. But the thing is that you don't want to wait till the relationship is on its last legs. You really want to start incorporating these things as early as you possibly can. Don't wait. Start now, incorporate these things, and make those shifts as soon as you possibly can. Now, the second way to reconnect with your husband is to recognize your feminine energy is magnetic. See, a lot of the time in relationships, when women are under stress, they revert to their masculine energy. And what that does is result in an energy that can sometimes be a little bit controlling, a little bit fearful, a little bit dominant occasionally, and so on. And I understand that, because at the end of the day, if the husband's not stepping up, if he's not doing the things you want him to do and so on, then the natural reaction, the natural instinct in that moment is to try and get him to do the things you want to do by controlling the situation. The issue with that is that it only creates more of a disconnect, because he's going to feel emasculated, he's going to back off, he's going to pull away more, and that's going to make you feel even more unheard, rejected, abandoned, and so on. And you don't want that. The greatest way to go about reconnecting with him is to step into your own feminine energy. And the beauty of stepping into your feminine energy is not only does it create the space for him to step up for you, but it also allows you to feel so much more relaxed and so much more joyful within you, because you're connecting in with your true authentic self, rather than letting fear and anxiety and stress and so on really run the show. And that's never an enjoyable place. So how do we go about actually connecting in with that feminine energy? The first way is to let go of trying to control every situation. As I said, often when you're under stress, you try and control the outcome. Problem with that control, it only makes them feel even more emasculated. The other issue with control here is that control comes from when we feel uncomfortable with uncertainty. We want to know exactly how something is going to unfold. When we actually are only focused on, trying to get a particular outcome, when we're only focused on certainty, it puts everyone under pressure. It keeps everyone on edge all the time. That's never an enjoyable place to be. Whereas when you can relax and step more into the flow and trust that there is an infinite range of possibilities in any given situation, that means you open yourself up to the magnificence of the way in which life unfolds. When I think about, for the last decade where I've been helping so many women around the world in their marriages, the way in which things have unfolded has just, it's astounded me how there's such an infinite range of ways in which things can actually restore themselves. These things happen when you let go of control. But when we're stepping into control all the time, it causes so many issues and so many problems, and you don't want to have to experience that. Life is short. You want to live it with joy rather than fear all the time. Secondly, accept help without feeling guilty. So many times I hear from my clients that their husband are wanting to do things for them, and they say, no, I'll take care of it. No, I'll sort it out, and so on. Let them help you. It's okay, and you don't need to feel guilty. I get it. So many women are mothers, and so they're so focused on everyone else except for themselves. And I know that's a tough thing, and I know it's a tough mindset shift. But if you can really start to make an effort to say, you know what? It's actually okay for me to get some help. Whether that's from my husband, whether that's from a stranger, whether that's from someone at work, it doesn't matter. Allow yourself to receive. It's not always about trying to give to everyone. Allow yourself to receive. The more you allow yourself to receive, then the more joy he'll actually get from giving you those things, from doing the things that he wants to do because he wants to see you happy. Really important to recognize that. Next, allow yourself to feel your emotions rather than stepping into the logical part of your brain or over-processing things in your mind in terms of the fears and other thoughts that are going on. Feel your emotions. Where are they in your body? Are they in your chest? Are they in your solar plexus? Wherever. Just allow yourself to feel them and be with them. Be present with them. Don't try and change it. Just allow yourself to be with it. And what that will do is flow through your body and slowly release, and you will feel a sense in a short amount of time. Next on the list, make sure you set aside some time every day for just some joy, for some fun. Whether that's, being at home and just dancing around to your favorite music and just letting the music flow through your body, whatever it is, just allow yourself to just have some fun. You can enjoy your time with dogs or with your kids, or even if you're just having a good laugh with your husband, make sure you set aside some beautiful time to really nourish your soul by making yourself laugh. It's a beautiful thing. And finally, don't be afraid to share your feelings with them without actually telling them what to do. Sometimes men do actually enjoy it when you can share what's actually going on and how you're feeling about certain things. The problems is that when you share and if you attack him and you say that you're the one that's creating those problems, that's when they get defensive. But if you can actually share these things and actually sometimes give him the space to want to help you out and support you on that journey, that can allow the two of you to connect, to work through problems together, and then that's only going to be a good thing for your feminine energy as well. Just remember, you can't control your husband, but you can change how you show up. And as you change within you, which is the only aspect that you can control, then you open up the space for him to show up differently as well. It's a beautiful thing when this happens. So there are some really important points there that you can use to reconnect with your husband. And if you do these consistently over time, they really can have incredible shifts in your life, in your marriage, and just in your overall well-being as well, because a lot of these shifts are internal. As you make those shifts internally, incredible things can happen in all aspects of your life. But like anything, if you just dabble at something, if you don't really commit to it, you don't commit to that change, then those results will only be short-lived, and that's not a fun place to be at all. So at this point, you've got a couple of options. The first is that you go about doing this all by yourself and giving it the absolute best that you have. And I want you to succeed. I want you to do well with it. So you've got to maintain that consistency. But your other choice is that if you feel like you're one of these individuals who sometimes just needs a little bit of hand-holding, needs a bit of support on this journey, and just wants to make sure they're being held accountable for the actions that they're taking and make sure that they're actually moving forward in the right direction. Because let's face it, on this journey of relationships, it's not just a cookie cutter approach. Every relationship has its own nuances, its own variables, and so on. And you want to make sure that you can adapt and pivot and so on to make sure that you're staying on the right path. Because as I say, all individuals have different ways and different approaches to their behavior, and also their psychology is often a little bit different as well from time to time. We want to make sure that you recognize that. So if you are feeling like you are needing that support on this path, if you're wanting to get the sort of results that clients of mine like Laurie and Jenny and Sarah and Michelle and all these incredible women who have been able to turn their marriage around, if you want to have those same experiences and see how my proven system can truly transform your life, then what I'd encourage you to do is just click on that link below which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at that scheduled time. And I can explain to you exactly how this approach can truly help to shift not in your internal world, but your marriage as well. The only thing here is that, this doesn't work for every single person. You've got to ultimately be a good fit. You've got to be someone who's actually willing to do the work and so on. And the reality is that I reject 50% of the applications anyway. And so if you do feel like you are a good fit, if you are someone that's coachable and really is committed to the path of transformation, the path of internal growth and the path of healing your marriage, then once again, click on that link below, choose a time that works for you, and I cannot wait to speak to you. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit that like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is, or if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just make sure you write them below and I'll respond to every single one of you. What I recommend you do now, if you want to understand the 4 feminine traits that men find wildly attractive, to be able to support you more on understanding more about male psychology, then click on this video below. Thank you so much, God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next video.